guys, my name is Crafty Kathy and I want to welcome you to my channel. Whether this is your very first time or your millionth time being here, I am tickled pink to have you, and I am so happy and blessed that you came to spend your time with me today. I am actually a nurse by trade, but my passion is the booth life. I absolutely love it. So if you like a channel where you can find some DIYs that are always high-end with a vintage flair, then you're in the right place. Because that's what I sell in my booths, and here on this channel, I teach you how to make your own DIY decor that is beautiful and boutique worthy. So let's don't waste any more time. Let's jump into these DIYs that I have for resale in my booth this week. First up is this cabinet door that came out of an RV. And we're going to make something really special and beautiful out of this. But first, I take all the hardware and the handle off of it with my drill. Right here in this upper area where I'm pointing at, that's where the handle was. And I just took some regular spackling, filled that in, and then used my sander to sand it down. Now there was just a small area, where the paint came off when I sanded. So I used some Waverly's Antique Wax very lightly. I rubbed it on with a rag and rubbed it off. And it looks like it never had a handle there in the first place and that this door has not been touched at all. I got this wood welcome sign from Hobby Lobby, half off, so it was only $2. And I'm going to use the plaster color by Waverly and just go over the very front of it because I wanted it to be a pretty ivory color. I'm going to glue this sign onto my cabinet door with E6000 on half of it, and then I'm going to use that Star Bond glue that I absolutely love because it also has a spray accelerator that you spray on the cabinet door and it sticks permanently within 15 seconds. Next, I have a lavender wreath that I got from Hobby Lobby, half off for like $7. And then I have this beautiful ivory colored ribbon, and I got this lace ribbon from burlapfabric.com. I'll leave the link down below. And so I just kind of roll it up on the back, and then my husband got me this sweet little nail gun that makes this so easy, and I popped a couple nails in the back and it's done. This one was quick and easy, and I have a tag on it for $32, and these sell really well in my booth.
Staying at home, turn off the phone, I will listen to you. You lay in the sheet.
I've got this wood pallet sign that I got at Goodwill for a couple of dollars, and I got a new box full of paints and all these different molds and stamps from Milton's daughter. And I'm going to try out some Seashell molds and stamps that I got from her. I'm really excited about these because I noticed I didn't do a lot of coastal things this summer. And I'm really feeling it this week because I'm headed to the beach on Thursday. So I wanted to start with the base color. And look at this color called Cake Batter. It's gorgeous. And I wanted to put this all over the sign just so it could have a common background, I guess you could say. And that's going to be kind of my focal color. Now, you know that the DIY paints are clay-based and they always dry a little bit lighter than what they come out. And this color is like, you're not expecting it. It's really pretty and it does turn out to look like cake batter. When that dries, I take a color called Petal Pusher, and I think that's a cute name, but anyways, I'm just going to kind of do it wishy-washy, kind of here and there. I'm not trying to get a full coat. I'm just wanting to put it mainly on one board and kind of run it up into the other board, if that makes any sense. I'm just kind of mixing my colors around, and I'm really just kind of playing at this point. I took the color Petal Pusher and mixed it in a little bit with that white color that's called Vintage Linen. And I got a very light blue color, and I'm just kind of adding it just kind of here and there. I still want that darker color of the pedal pusher and then this lighter blue just kind of mixed in with it. I'm just shading and kind of making it look like an old beach sign. This is mint chip, and I'm very excited to try this one. I've been wanting to for so long. It is a beautiful minty color. It reminds me of mint chocolate chip ice cream. And I went down mostly one board like I've been doing on the others and just shading into the other colors like I've been doing the whole time. I'm letting these colors dry in between, adding the next one, and I'm using a different brush for every one. This one is called Cowgirl Coral, and it's a beautiful color, so we're going to put it on that last bottom board and then just kind of here and there like I've been doing the whole time. I really didn't have any rhyme or reason to what I was doing. I was just kind of mixing the colors, putting them mostly on one board, but kind of mixing them off into the color up above it or underneath it. We're going to use these Seashell stamps. That's kind of hard to say. And they are beautiful. It comes with 2 sheets of all this different, like it's got crab shells on it. It's got anemones, or however you say it. I cannot say that word, so forgive me. It's got little seahorses on it, starfish. It's just got everything, and it is adorable. So the first thing you always want to do when you get a brand new stamp from IOD is take a little sanding sponge or sander, little sanding paper, and just go over it because it helps give you a better coverage when you're stamping. I absolutely love the coral. It really looks like coral from the bottom of the ocean. And I'm using my thin mount, and all that is if you have a few stamps that you want to put in a certain order, they stick to that. And I just placed about 7 different little pieces on there of the coral in the pattern that I wanted, and I inked it up, and we're going to put one of these on each side of my sign. You just flip your thin mount over, place it where you want it, and you hold it steady with one hand and use the other hand to kind of push down and around on the stamp to make sure that you get good coverage. And like I said, I put one on the left side and on the right side of this. Then I used my thin mount to put starfish and coral and a beautiful little, what is that called? Sand dollar. All of that across the bottom of the sign. I tell you what, I was really getting happy with these stamps, and I put like another big seashell, one of those conch shells, another sand dollar, and some cute little horsies on there too. I love playing with anything IOD because I know it's going to be perfect and professional every time. Look at this gorgeous mold that has all the seashells and all that beautiful stuff on it too. So we're going to put a couple of these, one in each corner of my sign. I did like a few little seashells, and I did like one of the little sand dollars and one of the starfish because I wanted one in each corner. And all I did was just use my clay, and you just push it down and it comes out perfect every time. But I always put down cornstarch in my molds because it helps it not stick. Then you just flip it over and they come out very easily and perfect every time. I use my Type Bond wood glue, and I put a little bit of that on the back of each one, and I place each one in a corner in no particular order, and you just leave it alone for a few hours and it'll be hardened. I use my Cricut to make a stencil, and all you do is just make a regular sign or whatever with your Cricut like you normally do, except for you peel off the words and then you lay that down, and that's what your stencil is. I used this gel stuff. It was this cheap stuff off of Amazon that's supposed to be like the chalk couture stuff, and it was hardened and did not work right. So I took my vintage linen, that color by DIY, and I stenciled it so that it would, look right at the top. And I did that color in that vintage linen, which is like a white color. Under the word mercantile, it's kind of hard to see, but I have a stencil laid out there that says like towels, lotions, gifts, souvenirs, and I also did that in the white color, which is called vintage linen. Since I had it out, I just used it that way. And when I stencil, I pounce it. I go up and down, and that way it doesn't bleed out underneath that stencil. I used my black chalk couture paste to do the word mercantile because I really like to use like the paste because it's perfect every time and it just has a really nice look. I used my color called Cake Batter again to paint the little starfish that's down in the bottom. And one of my sweet subscribers, Miss Wanda Cruz, she lives at the beach actually, and she sent me these shells in the mail, and I just love them, and I'm going to use them on my sign so I can think about her every time I look at it. And then I have these little hooks that I got off of Amazon, and I'm just going to drill 4 of them down at the bottom because this is going to be a sign that goes out by our swimming pool where we hang our towels and such. I absolutely love the way that this turned out. And guys, this is why I like the DIY paint so much. It's so pigmented and beautiful. And in the description box below, I'm going to leave the links for Milton's daughter. Her name is Lori, and she's the only person that I get all of my IOD and paint from because she's amazing. And she gives my subscribers 10% off. So, you guys actually have nothing to lose. You should go try out some of these little seashells and seahorse molds and stamps. They are so cute, and they have a lot of character and definition to each one. And have I mentioned that I would love to have you in my YouTube family? Oh yeah, all you got to do is hit that little red subscribe button and you're in. And there's a bell beside it, and when you hit that little bell, YouTube's going to let you know every time that I put out a video. So hit that subscribe button and commit to me. We always have love, laughs, and DIYs around here. So let's keep going. The next one is this wooden crate that I got from Walmart, and I did the reverse canvas mode where I just took like a Dollar Tree frame and I painted it with the antique wax, and I used burlap to stencil Farmer's Market on the front of it. Now, if you'll look, it's got a big old sticker on the side of it, and I had already wrote country apples on the inside, so that looks terrible, and we're going to cover that up real good with some truffle paint by Waverly. I didn't have much to cover up, and that truffle paint matched the color really well, so I just covered up that part that said country apples, and we're good to go. I'm going to use this for a big display on my armoire in my booth. I didn't want to waste a bunch of floral foam filling this up, so I just took a regular Amazon box and glued it down to the bottom so I could stick my floral foam on top of that and not have to use so much of it. Then I simply glued 3 pieces of the floral foam on the top, and I got these at Hobby Lobby for $6 for 6 of them. I have some lavender from Hobby Lobby, and I think I ended up spending about $7 when I got the 50% off, and I just cut the stems off, and I always start by placing the tallest ones in the middle. Then I've got another bouquet that I spent about $5 for. And I'm not the greatest really at doing florals. You just have to have confidence and trust yourself. You put the tallest stuff in the middle, and then you always want things to match up on one side. For instance, if you put a certain flower on your right side, you want to put the exact same flower on the same place on the left side. You just want it to match up in that way. Now, I filled this in with this baby's breath just as a little filler. I just nipped them off and just kind of placed them here and there. I also had some eucalyptus stems, and all of these picks come from Hobby Lobby. I ended up actually spending about $25 to $30 worth of flowers inside this arrangement, and that was with the 50% off. Since I didn't totally cover the back, what I did was take a burlap ribbon that I get from Walmart. I laid it across that back part, and you see on the sides there, I just laid it outside the crate where it's kind of falling over the sides. And then I cut down just these little skewer sticks, and that's what I stick in that to help it hold it down and hold it in place. Now, I didn't mind spending this much when it came to this arrangement because it's going to be a very main focal point in my booth. And I just put a higher price on it. That way, maybe it won't sell because I didn't really want to sell it. But if you have something that you don't want to sell, you just put a higher price on it. What it would be worth to you to sell. I hope you guys like this one. I think I put a price tag of like $65 on it because, like I said, I hope it doesn't sell, but that's what it would be worth to me if someone wanted it. The next one is really easy. It's this little duck basket that I got, and I did it in a few videos back. It was the brown wicker color. We put some shellac on it, and I spray painted it with my Rust-Oleum matte 2 times. And here I'm just doing the exact same thing. I start with my taller ones in the middle and then go around. And all of this was eucalyptus, and then at the very end I added about 3 or 4 sprigs of lavender just to give it a little pop of color. And I also added 1 or 2 little pieces of baby's breath. I glued the floral foam down with some hot glue because it is top heavy. Then I make a simple bow in the middle. It's just a cause bow, and you make a figure 8 and push down in the middle and tie it. Then I'm going to take the end off of one of the skewers and cut it, and I'm going to glue that to the back of my bow. That way I can stick the little skewer down inside, at the side, and it's going to be beautiful, and it's going to be kind of, in the front of the flowers and not kind of around the duck's neck or anything tacky. I think this is adorable. I'll sell it for $28 in my booth.
Feelings unheard can still be just as sincere, but something's not right.
The last one is more or less a hack. I dropped this, it's just decor or maybe like a paperweight. I dropped it and broke that round ball part on the top. I put it back together with E6000, and you see how the bottom is kind of cracked. It's a soft, almost like a chalky material. So I take some clay after I let the E6000 dry totally and repair it. I take the clay and I use my fingers to smooth around that clay. And to get it absolutely 100% smooth, you use a little bit of water on your fingers and it will make it perfectly smooth. I took it outside and spray painted it with the Rust-Oleum 2 times matte black. And then I'm going over it with the vintage linen after it dries, of course. And I only did 1 coat of the vintage linen because I want to do a crackle and I want that black to really show through. This is Pent Art Crackle, and I got it from Milton's daughter. It's got 2 parts, a 1 and a 2. The first part I'm going to put on it, and you just go in one motion, one time. You don't swipe back and forth over it, and you go in the same direction. That's what makes the crackle. You let it totally dry, and when it's dry, you use the second part. And the second part is basically like a sealer, and it's a glossy type sealer. And this turned out beautiful. You would never know it ever had a crack in it. And this will be sold for $12 in my booth. And I didn't do any bloopers this week, guys, because I'm actually on vacation. But I will have a thrift haul of everything that I buy here in Florida. And I love you guys, and I hope y'all have a blessed week. And I promise I'll make up the bloopers next week.